Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching, yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
It's a beautiful day here in the Tampa-St. Pete area. Now, it's a little bit hot, but that's not a concern. Why? Because we're in a dome, and it is time for baseball as the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the New York Yankees against the Tampa Bay Rays in the first of three from Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Yankees Baseball. Along with Jeff Nelson, I'm Michael Kay. This is the beginning of a long road trip for the Yankees. They'll try to figure some things out and get back to their winning ways. So let's take a look right now at the pitching matchup. In this one, Zach Eflin, a free agent signing for Tampa Bay. He's had a great season. Garrett Cole, really, he might be having the best season in the American League. He's the Yankees' best pitcher, and he might be the best pitcher in the league. He gets the start.
Well, it could be his first Cy Young as well. That 3.03 ERA leads the American League. He's fourth in strikeouts. Well, this was his outing here at the Trop against the Rays. You mentioned the perfect guy to try to figure out their winning ways or their struggles. This is who you want on the mound. He's given up a couple home runs to the Rays here at the Trop, but at the stadium he was brilliant. 7 innings, 2 runs on August 2nd. He was outstanding. This is the exact guy that you want to lead off this 3-game series. This is the last time that they play the Rays.
All right, so 3 starts against Tampa Bay, 1-0, 4.76. More than a strikeout per inning, 6 walks, 5 home runs allowed, but 4 earned runs allowed in the last 2 starts combined. Now, one of the guys that he really has to be concerned about is Yandy Diaz. Right there in the Rays order, he's leading the American League in hitting. This guy can rake.
He can. He's very aggressive, and he'll swing at the first couple pitches. He doesn't like to get deep into counts, and he's having a career year like you mentioned, Michael, especially in home runs. 16 home runs, that's a career high. 65 RBIs also is a career high, and he feasts on fastballs, especially up in the zone. He's not really your typical leadoff guy where he looks at the pitcher, lets everybody see what they have. He'll jump on early fastballs, especially the first couple that he sees.
All right, so he leads the American League in average. He's second to Ohtani in on-base percentage, 8th in slugging, tied for 7th in runs scored with 77, so he's a concern. Well, Everson Pereira yesterday got his first big league hit. Waited a couple of games to do it, but he had a ringing double down the left field line. When we get back, Meredith Marakovitz talks to Yankee manager Aaron Boone about Pereira's first hit.
Welcome back to St. Petersburg for the first of a 3-game set between the Yankees and the Tampa Bay Rays. Hey everyone, I'm Meredith Marakovitz. Everson Pereira got his first taste of big league action this past weekend, making his major league debut on Friday night against the Nationals. Then on Sunday, he notched his first major league hit. Earlier, I asked Aaron Boone what he's thought of Pereira so far.
I think he's done all right, actually. You know, he's only got the 1 hit in his last at-bat, but I thought what was really encouraging about the last at-bat, it was on the heels of 3 at-bats where he really struggled, where Corbin kind of had his number, had him chasing, and then would, so I think had him a little bit confused. And, it didn't shake him at all. And he goes up there in his last at-bat and puts together a really good at-bat, smokes the double in the corner, to put himself in scoring position in a close game late. I feel like he's, the game hasn't sped up on him. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he does.
When Pereira was called up, Boone said he is going to get reps, and that holds true tonight. He is in there playing left field and batting 7th as the Yankees prepare for Zach Eflin. First pitch coming your way from the Trop after the break.
By Northwell, raising health for more people in New York than anyone. By Grand Palladium Jamaica Resort and Spa. Visit PalladiumHotelGroup.com today. By the new Defender 130, 8 seats, infinite adventures. And by FanDuel, make every moment more. Well, the Rays have taken the field, and Randy Arozarena giving some love to Randy Land out there. He is one of the big stars on this Rays team that's just 2 games out of first place behind the Baltimore Orioles in the American League East. Take a look at the Yankees starting lineup brought to you by TikTok. LeMahieu, Judge, and Torres at the top. The middle third, Stanton, IKF, and Volpe in the middle. And then Everson Pereira in left, Oswald Peraza at third, and the catcher is Ben Rortvedt. He's going to bat ninth.
And here's your scouting report. Zach Eflin first. He's making his 25th start. See the numbers there, nice. 13 wins, 3.58 ERA. 3-0 with a 1.57 career versus the Yankees, just 4 starts.
Now let's check out the Nissan pitcher scouting report.
Well, the last 3 at home have not been good for Eflin. 0-2 with a 7.71. No walks. He doesn't walk a lot of guys. 19 walks and 138 and a third. And pitches down. Everything is down in the zone. The fastball, the slider, he throws a cutter, the curveball, changeup, everything down.
LeMahieu's ready. Eflin's ready, and let's do it. At the Trop, first pitch is skied out to right field. Right there is low for the first out of the inning. Let's take a look at the Rays defense presented by Buick. You've got a Rosarena in left, Jose Siri, who can go get him in center. Josh Lowe, we just saw over in right. In the infield, it's Paredes, Wasabi, Lau, and Diaz. That's third to first. Bethancourt behind the plate. Ramirez is the DH. Eflin is the pitcher. Judge takes outside. 4 home runs in his last 2 games. 6 home runs in his last 6 games. 8 home runs in his last 14 games. Count 1-1. Leads the American League with 9 first-inning home runs. There's a strike.
A lot off speed so far early to Judge.
Off speed again, 2-2. Begins a 10-game road trip for the Yankees. 3 here in St. Pete, 4 in Detroit, and then finishing out with 3 against the Astros in Houston. Swing and a miss. Down goes Judge. 2 away.
Judge didn't see a fastball at all or anything hard from Eflin. Nothing but sliders, and this was that big slider down and away. You see how it starts on the inside part, breaks to the outside part with a swing and miss.
Here's Gleyber Torres. And a strike. Just missed 1-1. Torres with a home run yesterday, giving him 20 on the year, his 4th 20 home run season. Only Yankee middle infielder in their history that's had more than 4 20 home run seasons is Robinson Cano, did it 5 times. Count 1-2. Fouled away.
It's got a decent fastball, mid-90s, the low 90s, 92 to 94. That one right there, 94. Those about 37% of the time cutters, a lot of cutters, and a lot of curveballs.
Two and two. The Rays have been hot. They've won 4 in a row, 9 of 12. Had an awful August at 8-16, but they've rebounded here or awful July. In August, they're 13-7. Strike 3. Torres now looking strong first inning for Eflin. As the Yankees go down in order, Garrett Cole will take the mound to face the Rays in the bottom of the first. Paredes and Lowe in the middle. Wasabi, Siri, and Bethancourt, the bottom of the order for the Rays. They are going to be facing Garrett Cole. The numbers for Garrett This is his 27th start, 10-4, 3.03. All of his numbers are very good. Let's check out the Nissan pitcher scouting report.
Well, Michael, he's looking for a rebound start. His last start against the Red Sox, he only went 4 innings and gave up a career-high 6 runs. An off-speed. The off-speed is going to play big, I think, in this game, only because the Rays are a very aggressive hitting team. Second in home runs, they steal bases. Third in average, hitting .261, and then keep them honest. You know, like I mentioned, they're very aggressive. I like to see some fastballs inside, move their feet. They're getting a lot of comfortable at-bats lately in a lot of these series versus the other teams and even against the Yankees.
Well, Jeff said in the open that Diaz not your prototypical leadoff hitter. He's just going to cut and slash. He swings at the first pitch. Now he's leading the American League at .326, but that's going to be short-lived because Corey Seager of the Rangers hitting .345, but he's 12 plate appearances shy of qualifying for the lead, and he'll get to that point right around Labor Day, and then he'll take over the lead.
He had another home run yesterday off of Pablo Lopez in Minnesota. That was a bomb to right field.
He's having some season.
Yes.
You know, when you look at all those free agent shortstops that were signed, it looks like he might have been the best one.
Yeah, he's having a great year. He has some injuries with the Rangers, but you know, big part of that offense, that Rangers team, they snapped a 6-game losing streak yesterday against the Twins.
Foul back, 2-2.
That race out in the West is getting interesting.
Oh yeah.
Look at the Mariners. The Mariners have played outstanding baseball. I think they're in Houston, or maybe a game out of Texas, right behind Texas.
You know, for the longest time, we thought that all 3 wild cards would be coming out of the East, but the Rays will definitely be a wild card. Then it could be the Astros and the Mariners.
Yeah, Texas actually lost yesterday. That's 7 in a row.
3-2. Fouled away. Why don't we check out the Yankees defense, which is presented by Buick, Pereira, IKF, and Judge, left to right in the outfield. Infield, Peraza, Volpe, Torres, and LeMahieu. That's third to first. Rourke, that's behind the plate, stands the DH, and Garrett Cole's on the mound. Swing and a miss, got him. 97 miles an hour. Diaz down on strikes. All right, let's get to work, Jeff. The keys to the game brought to you by your local Kia dealers.
For the Yankees, this is their second home. They train not too far away in Tampa, George Steinbrenner Field, and elevate. You have to make Eflin elevate the ball. I mentioned how he pitches down, everything down. Make him get the pitches up, especially the cutter, especially the fastball. And Aaron Judge, you look at what Washington did. They pitched and went right after him because Washington's not going anywhere. Tampa Bay Rays are in a fight for the East and also a wild card. It'd be interesting to see once they get men on base in front of Judge, will they pitch around him?
Count 2-0 on Lau. There's a strike.
You know, the way Seattle started out the first half, their offense with Julio Rodriguez and Teoscar Hernandez, they just weren't going anywhere. I don't think they even thought that they would be in the situation that they are in now.
Ground ball and under the glove of Torres and into right center field. A base hit for Lau.
Lau hits a curveball. You see right out over the middle. It wasn't a sharp one, didn't have that big bite. They're used to seeing from Cole. Just gets under the glove of Torres for a base hit.
There's Randy Arozarena. Count 0-1. 0-2.
3 teams from the West or 3 teams from the East in the playoffs?
Well, I think the Rays are going to make it. I'd say the other 2 will probably come from the West. Although the Astros are no lock. None of those teams are locks because they could still fall back, and Toronto's played pretty well.
Yeah, game and a half out of the wild card.
I want to take the time to wish a happy 95th birthday to Don Zagoria of Krugers, New York. Longtime professor at Columbia, and Hunter watches every single game. Big fan of David Cohn. But happy birthday, Don, many, many more.
Happy birthday. My daughter's 26th birthday.
That's right. Happy birthday to her. I knew her when she was just born.
Yes, I know.
Wow.
97. Yes, he did go.
So here's Harold Ramirez, having a good season, hitting .305. Always interesting to watch the dynamics between Cole and Rortvedt. And they get into animated discussions almost between every single inning, even walking off the mound.
Somebody ever asked him about, does he like throwing to Ben?
I think he does.
Trevino was his guy.
Yeah, he said he enjoys it. He said he's doing a good job, but they always seem like an old married couple.
Because you never really saw that with Trevino.
Now Ben's looking over to the dugout about pickoffs or pitch outs, but the pitch is called by him. Has to be agreed to by Cole. Home plate umpire is Clint Vondrak. Gabe Morales at first, Adam Beck at second, Dan Iasonia is over at third. Ground ball to first. Right there is LeMahieu. He'll take it himself, and that'll do it in the first. No runs to hit, no errors, and one man left on base. We played one. Nothing. College students, bring your New York Yankees to school with you with MLB.tv. Receive a free subscription to MLB.tv when you attend a game. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Big day yesterday for Stanton. 4 for 5, hit the ball hard 5 times. Single, double, home run, another single. Kept the game alive in the bottom of the ninth.
Yeah, that was a really good game to see. He was 4 for 34 before that game yesterday.
Shattered bat. Ground ball to Paredes. And he gets Stanton. One away.
Well, the bat went further than the ball. It went clear beyond shortstop. Saw blades. Fastball inside. Just has the handle.
He does that a lot. He does not let go of that handle. And he carries it right down to first base.
Remember the time we did a game and he was running with that handle and it was a wild throw? Mm-hmm. He almost stabbed the first baseman.
Yeah. Here's IKF now. Of all the Yankees, he's probably impacted the most with the call-up of Peraza and Pereira, because he's seen a drastic reduction in his playing time. And Aaron Boone spoke with him, and he said he understood. He doesn't like it, but he certainly understands it. He got his chance in the big leagues because Texas Rangers did something like that, and he got his opportunity. But he's been playing well. He is certainly not to blame for the Yankees' struggles, but if you're going to bring up Pereira and Peraza, Jeff, you want to play them.
Yeah, you're going to play them every day. So that where IKF was playing, third base, left field, Tonight he's in center.
They're giving Bader a rest, who was 0 for 5 yesterday. Almost got a huge hit for the final out of the game. Drove Call all the way back to the warning track in left center, but hauled it in to end the game. The Yankees lost by 1.
Yeah, had a rough day with 4 strikeouts.
And he struggled against right-handed pitching.
And Eflin's tough, especially with that big breaking ball. You saw what he did to Judge. Didn't see him throw a fastball at all. A lot of curveballs, threw a couple cutters away, and then he got him with that big slider away.
You know, Eflin ended the season last year out of the bullpen, but he wanted to start. And the Rays gave him a 3-year, $40 million deal. It's the biggest free agent contract the Rays have ever given in their history. As IKF now looking, 3rd strikeout for Eflin.
You see a little cutter. It was a front door cutter, supposed to be away. Just caught that inside edge at 87 miles an hour.
Foul back.
I mean, if you looked at the Rays starting rotation, no McClanahan, no Springs, no Rasmussen. Glass now didn't start the year. He was on the IL. They continue to do what they're doing.
Ground ball is short. And Basabe can't handle it. That'll allow Volpe to reach. We'll see how they score it. And that scored a base hit for Anthony.
Real tough play by the shortstop, Basabe. You see how he goes to his right. Just gets off his glove. I don't think he would have had him anyway.
Basabe was called up on August 13th. He has replaced Wander Franco, been on the restricted list as they investigate allegations of relationships, people under the age of consent. Major League Baseball looking into it. Obviously, the Rays are behind everything as well with Major League Baseball. They support the investigation. So we'll see exactly what happens with Franco.
Well, let's see if Volpe can get a good jump here.
He's dancing off first, that's for sure. 1-1.
He has 20 stolen bases. Hadn't stolen a base in a long time. Even when you're behind, it pretty much shuts your running game down. The Yankees have been behind quite often of late. Eflin's already gone over there once. Here you see the hop. Well, that's 2 disengagements right now. So that 3rd time over, he's going to have to get Volpe out, or it's a balk.
Pereira swings and misses. Got his first hit yesterday, that double. And the sheer joy and exultation from his family in the stands was great to watch. Sense of relief for them, and I'm sure for him. Swing and a miss. Pereira down on strikes. 4 strikeouts in 2 innings for Eflin. We'll go to the bottom of the 2nd. The official hybrid vehicles of the Yankees. And tonight's picture was submitted by Amanda. She just made it through her first ever week as a school teacher in her Yankees-themed classroom. You look happy, Amanda. Yankee theme in Miami. Let's see how that plays. Use the hashtag Toyota Pinstripe Pride. Mention yes in pictures you post to social media to reflect your love for the Bronx Bombers, and we might spotlight you in a future game.
Yeah, a lot of kids down here, they've already been in school, but about 10 days, 2 weeks.
Really?
Yeah. Starts early down here in Florida. Still about after Labor Day up east, up northeast?
My kids will be Friday.
Wow.
Which makes no sense. Start them on Friday, they don't come back to school till Tuesday. Yeah.
Who starts school on Friday?
This guy's kids.
His bright idea was that, oh, let's start school on Friday.
I don't understand.
Go right into
it.
the weekend.
Yeah, doesn't make sense. Three and one. Rays have had an up and down season. That one's grounded in the hole, and it's off the glove of Peraza. Trickles into left field. That'll be a base hit for Paredes.
It was a real tough play by Peraza. Even if Volpe was there as well, you're probably not throwing out Paredes at first. Just gets off the end of his glove, trickles out into left field.
Here's Josh Lowe. High fly ball deep left, going back Pereira. He's on the track, he makes the play. One down.
It's going to be an interesting outfield for Pereira here at the Dome, at the Trop. You got to keep your eye on the ball. Anything up in the air, especially high fly balls, that ball blends in with the roof. You see the roof there, and if you look down, you see a lot of outfielders. They'll put their head down, they'll run to a spot if their ball's in the gap, but not here. You got to keep your eye on the ball at all times. You'll lose it.
Here is Oslavis Basabi, and he is the starting shortstop for the Rays. Gotten off to a good start, 333, a home run, 9 runs batted in. Again, called up on August 13th to replace Franco.
His first home run was a grand slam.
22 years old, from Venezuela, signed with the Rangers in 17, traded to the Rays in 2020 in the Nathaniel Lowe deal, and had a .311 average in the minors over 365 games. So he has some minor league time. And this is his opportunity right now. Grounded to third, it's a foul ball.
Nice play by Peraza getting over there and making sure, hey, he didn't know if it was fair or foul. He makes the throw over to second. Sometimes those guys will give up on the ball and when they think it's foul and it winds up being fair, but nice job continuing with the play.
See, he's had that bat a while. A lot of marks on that bat. Popped up. Torres puts it away for the second out.
Center fielder, number 22, Jose Siri.
Here is Siri setting off everybody's iPhone right now. Grounded and grabbed by Volpe. The long throw and the stretch and the scoop by LeMahieu to complete the play. Good play on both sides to end the inning. No runs a hit, no errors, and one man left on base. The backhand, off balance throw, the one hopper, end of the inning. Tommy John surgery Monday, expected to miss all of next season. And what a season he was having. He was mentioned in the same breath as Cole for the Cy Young. 11-2, 3.29, 121 strikeouts in 21 starts. Great pitcher, but he goes down with a Tommy John. You know, when you look at the Rays, Jeff, I mean, they've had a preponderance of Tommy John injuries. They've lost so much of their starting staff, and they're 2 games out of first place.
I know. No Springs, no Rasmussen, no McClanahan. I mentioned Glasnow's throwing tomorrow. He was on the IL in the beginning of the year.
Yep. Somehow they're making it work. Hit sharply and through for a base hit for Peraza.
He got a cutter. You see where Bethencourt was setting up on the outside part of the plate. Just stays out over the middle. Leadoff base hit. Peraza can run. Let's see if they can get something going here on the base pass.
Here's Ben Rortvedt. Pitch is low.
I actually thought Volpe was going to have a chance to steal in the second. Try to get into scoring position. He wasn't able to get a good jump. Let's see if Peraza can get a good jump off at first.
One and one.
When you got the guys on the bases that can run, you got to make something happen. You know, when you're out on that mound and you have someone at first who can steal bases, it's a lot tougher. I mean, you start worrying about the guy over there. You don't want him to get a good jump. Now with all the different rules, winds up losing focus on the hitter.
Right under our booth. I wanted no part of that, Jeff. Not feeling it today.
What were you doing?
I was moving.
A little depth perception though. It wasn't even close.
Well, you know, it was right on line though.
I would have. I didn't. I would have had you.
Really?
Yeah. That wasn't. That was a little. Wasn't one of those line drives up in here.
Right. Because I'm just. I got to be honest. I'm not feeling
moving
it
slow today.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. 2-2. Swing and a miss. Rortvedt down on strikes on the curveball. 5 strikeouts for Eflin.
Well, he's got a good breaking ball today. There's that breaking ball down and in. That's one of the things that, you know, as far as Peraza being able to steal, Eflin throws a lot of curveballs, a lot of off speed. You can get a good jump, improves your chances. He doesn't throw a lot of fastballs. Try to pick out a breaking ball count and take off.
You know, we mentioned that Eflin signed a free agent contract with the Rays. He was offered the identical deal with the Red Sox, but he went with the Rays because he lives in Orlando. That's his hometown. He wanted to be close to home, and he wanted a chance to work with the pitching coach, Kyle Snyder. Up the middle, base hit. Siri will get the ball in, and a single for LeMahieu as Peraza stops at second.
A nice at bat by DJ. You see Bethencourt again setting up on the outside part of the plate, and he misses with a center cut fastball, and LeMahieu was able to hit it back up the middle for a base hit. This is what the Yankees want with first and second. It forces you to pitch to Judge now.
Eflin deals. He's going to see a steady diet of that from Eflin. 0-1.
Well, his first at bat didn't see a fastball, didn't even see a cutter. A lot of sliders, and then that big curveball.
Curveball again. 0-2.
Yeah, Judge must be having a real hard time picking up that spin. And this was on the inside part, and he swings over it. He's just going to try to expand the zone on him here.
Judge struck out in the first and strikes out here in the second. The only heat he's going to see this weekend is when he walks outside.
Well, that was a big breaker away, and that's exactly what Eflin did. He expanded the zone on Judge. could see there that Bethancourt, the catcher, he stood up, tried to see if Peraza at second base was going to give location, and then he went back down and away for that curveball.
6 strikeouts for Eflin, first and second. 2 outs. Here's Torres. Strikeout looking in the first. Let's take a look at the league leaders, brought to you by Citizens Made Ready. So with his home run yesterday, 20 home runs. It's his 4th 20 home run or more season. Mentioned earlier, most all-time by a middle infielder on the Yankees, Cano with 5. Torres tied Joe Gordon, and then Jeter, who did it 3 times, and Gregorius a couple times. Grounded to third. Paredes, as Eflin works into and out of trouble. No runs, 2 hits, 2 men left on base. And then Curtis Granderson. Pretty amazing against the Oakland Athletics.
Not a fun day for the A's. They lost 22-9 that game. In that game.
Imagine losing a game where you hit 3 grand slams. Also, if you ever want to go down a rabbit hole, go check out the years Curtis Granderson had for the Yankees.
Yes.
He had a really nice Yankee career.
He had a lot of pop. I remember playing against him when he was with the Tigers.
1-1 to Bethancourt.
I know Bethancourt doesn't like that very much. He's staring back at Cole, but this is what I was talking about in the scouting report for Cole. You got to keep them honest. You got to move their feet. You don't want comfortable ABs.
That's what makes that pitch
exactly.
possible.
It sets it up. Anytime somebody comes in and moves you off, they do not get a good swing on that breaking ball. I would do the same thing. Try to expand just a little bit. You don't see pitchers throw inside too often anymore. You get a lot of stare back. Sometimes the umpires will take that inside pitch away. But you got to come in.
Yeah, there was an interesting story today in the Post where Garrett Cole was asked, now that the Yankees are having this bad season, doesn't look like they'll make the playoffs, do you think about just shutting it down to save your arm for next season or future seasons? And Cole said, absolutely not.
No.
He goes, I'm contracted to make 32, 33, 34 starts, give 210 innings. Doesn't matter where the team is. It's my job. Of course I'm going to keep going out there.
Yeah, that didn't seem like a smart question to me. I mean, why would you ask somebody like that? I mean, if he has a chance to get his first Cy Young, I mean, you're competing. Sonny Gray is having a good year with the Twins. I mean, look out in Seattle, Castillo, Kirby. You mentioned Evaldi, but Evaldi's been on the IL. I mean, he's back now, but
so the count is 1-1 on Yandy. Let's check out the Genesis hitter scouting report on Diaz.
Well, he's a hacker. We talked about that. 363 on the first pitch. He swings a lot of first pitches every month. Every month he has hit over 300. That's incredible. 360 in the month of August so far. And at the Trop, he's hitting 355. Compared to 297 on the road. This guy's having a career year.
Grounded sharply to short. Volpe makes the play for the second out.
Now with Ohtani going down and not pitching anymore, does that bring someone like a Diaz or a Tucker with the Astros into the MVP question?
I still think Ohtani's the MVP. Just on his offense. He's going to continue to hit. Well, you think it takes him out?
No, I don't think it takes him out. I think maybe it brings some other guys into the question. Tucker for the Astros is having a great year.
And again, it always brings into question, can you be a most valuable player on a team that doesn't make the playoffs?
Right.
And he had a great year last year, and the only thing that kept him from winning the MVP for the second straight year was a record-breaking year by Aaron Judge.
Right, and the Yankees were in the playoffs. I wonder how often somebody won the MVP. I know Trout has a few times, and their team has not made the playoffs. Usually it's that way.
Well, Andre Dawson with the Cubs, Cal Ripken Jr. I think the Orioles finished last that year. He won the MVP. A-Rod in Texas, they didn't make the playoffs. So it happens, but I think those guys win it when there is not an Aaron Judge having an extraordinary year, and yet they have such a great year that nobody could even think about taking the award away from you. Swing and a miss. Lau goes down on strikes. 1-2-3 inning for Cole. He's retired 6 in a row, and we're going to the 4th. Nothing. Now, sports is always a thing of first. Well, this never happened before. This is the first time it ever happened. Now, there are no stats on this one, but I'm pretty certain that the Yankees had a first yesterday. The dad of one of the players was the pilot flying the team, and the player is Clark Schmidt, and his dad was the pilot on the Yankee charter. Meredith, that's just unbelievable.
So his father, Dwight, has been a pilot for Delta for the past 28 to 30 years, and he contacted Clark and said, you can get on this schedule. You have a schedule in advance. Would he be okay if he chartered one of the planes? Because he thought it would be a cool experience to pilot his son and the team. And Clark, of course, agreed, and the players thought it was a great thing. Now, one thing that's funny, Aaron Boone actually went with Clark's dad in a simulator when they were in Atlanta, and Aaron Boone kind of campaigned to fly that plane a little bit. Obviously, Dwight respectfully declined that. I think the FAA would probably have some issues with that. But Clark told me in the clubhouse it was the first time that he had ever been in the cockpit before the flight took off with his dad. So pretty cool moment for him. And Wandy Peralta, we know he's a funny guy.
Not a great flyer.
Hates flying, Michael.
Right.
Absolutely hates flying. So what they did, they thought baptism by fire. They made him go in the cockpit, talk to Dwight a little bit, get him a little bit more comfortable. Did far less rocking back and forth on the flight than he normally does, according to several reports. So pretty cool moment there.
Awesome moment. Stanton goes down on strikes.
Well, you got to figure you're going to have a pretty safe flight if your dad's flying the plane, right?
Yes, you would think.
Well, Clark mentioned that. He said he thought perhaps the pilot a little bit more invested with the cargo than normal.
If you hit some turbulence, I mean, I'm sure some of the guys yelling at him say, Clark, let's go. Get your dad to climb up a little bit.
And rave reviews about the landing. Aaron Boone said, pretty smooth landing. Nice. Good flight. One of the best flights of the year. So.
Great story.
Nice job, Dwight.
Now, this leads me, I thought about this because I saw this on Twitter.
That one is hammered to left field off the bat of IKF, and that ball is going to be in there for a base hit. Bounces off the wall, and IKF in there with a double.
They got one of those hanging breaking balls. There's Bethancourt. He sits up on the outside, really didn't do a whole lot. Just hangs up there, and he hammers it down the left field line. Rosarena was playing more towards left center. Just pops off of that little short wall down the left field. So I saw that on Twitter, and I got to thinking, do you think this way? When you get on flights, you start looking at the people that come on, right? Mm-hmm. And you see a lot of kids, and you figure, okay, you know, a lot of kids on this flight, I feel pretty safe. You know, that it's going to have an easy flight.
I look into the cockpit and see
I know,
who's in
but
there.
I also look at the people. What happened if you're all of a sudden you start seeing a lot of people and you might be the youngest guy by like 20 years and you're like, oh, this might be. Hopefully it's not the time. These people have lived a long life. You never know.
Oh my goodness! Well, how macabre.
Yeah, I look at that stuff.
Well, I mean, I don't look at anything. I mean, I still can't figure out how this piece of tin is flying through the air. So I just suspend reality and get on there.
Start looking at people and start gauging things. Oh, okay, we're good.
That one is looped to short. Wasabe puts it away for the second out.
You don't do that, man?
I don't do that, but I sit on the same side of the plane, preferably the same seat every flight I take.
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
and why is that?
Really? Same side?
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Why is that?
I don't like flying either. I have my routine.
If I'm on the other side of the plane, everything is all out of whack.
Oh.
Knock on wood, we've landed.
Here's Everson Pereira. She's a window person. She does not like the aisle. That I know. Don't give her the aisle. I like the aisle because you can get up whenever you want and not annoy people.
Right. I like the window because I don't get up a whole lot. So
perfect.
Well, if that thing starts going down, you could at least look out the window and see what you're going to hit, right?
Oh,
does it matter then?
Probably not, but I like to at least see it.
Please stop.
That'd be your last memory. Well, at least I saw us hit that mountain. That's why you look at people when they get on.
Pereira down on strikes. Thank you so much, Everson. I'm sorry you struck out, but that story had to end. Had to, for all of our sakes. Check out and follow Yes Network on TikTok for more content. Hot day here in the Tampa St. Pete area. Cadillac scoreboard 0-0. 1-0 on a Rosarena. Now, when Eflin pitches, usually the Rays score runs, a lot of runs. Fly ball. Canapaletta's there, one away. They score 6.44 runs per 9 innings when he starts. That's the best run support of any pitcher. That'll get it done. So when you have a low ERA and you get a lot of run support, you are going to have 13 wins. And his 13 wins are tied with the Orioles' Kyle Gibson for the most in the American League. In an era where people don't care about wins anymore, well, at least front offices don't. I think pitchers do.
Pitchers do. You always want to see a W beside your name.
Foul back, 0-1.
You mentioned the run support. I was just reading today about the Rays' recent hot streak, the 4 consecutive series that they've won. They've hit 19 homers and they've averaged over 7 runs per game.
No, we told you it's been a topsy-turvy year. So through June, they were 57-28. That's the best record in baseball. And people were talking about them breaking the all-time mark of 116 wins. But it didn't turn out that way because July was a slog for them. As Ramirez down on strikes. They went 8-16 in July, but in August they've turned it around 13-7. Let's check out FanDuel's live same-game parlay. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app now. Start making every moment more. Here's Isaac Paredes. Single to left in the second. We're in the fourth. 0-0. 0-1.
You think anybody will reach that mark? I mean, everybody starts out so hot. You get the Dodgers a couple years ago. What did they win? 111, I think, last year. Will anyone get 114, win 114, 116? I don't know.
It's so hard to do. I mean, my bet would be no, but people do have amazing years. I mean, that Mariner team that you were on that won 116, did you think you were going to win 116?
No, I thought we were actually going to go to the World Series, and that didn't happen.
Right. And then the 98 team you were on, after 97, did you see 114? 125 with all the playoff games? So,
well, how about the way that we started that year?
Yep.
1-4.
That one's driven to left field. Going back is Pereira. He's there to make the play. And Garrett Cole has retired 9 in a row. Well, Zach Eflin has a lot of tools in the bag. StatCast 3D Google Cloud shows you how many.
Yeah, he's using them all. A curveball, that's a slider, not a sweeper. Four-seamer sinker cutter. Got judged with 2 curveballs. Just a couple strikeouts so far. 8 punch-outs so far here in 4 innings.
Peraza takes outside as we start the fifth. 0-0. Pretty good line.
There's that nasty sinker inside. Now, after coming inside, you're going to see something soft away.
You've done this before, huh?
A few times. It's it's like anything in, you're going away.
Two and two.
You just have to make the hitter. I mean, they have so many reports on hitters and what they hit, the averages, what you're supposed to throw them. You come inside, you can still go fastballs in, sliders, breaking balls away. Anytime you make a hitter aware of the inside pitch that you're going to come in there, it makes that outside, it opens up the outside so much.
Two. Strike three. Strikeout number 9 for Eflin. His season high is 10 in 7 innings against Pittsburgh on May 4th.
Well, he had Peraza looking off speed, and this was just a fastball right down the middle of the plate at 93 miles an hour.
Strike to Rortvedt. He's one of the strikeout victims. That came in the 3rd. Two and two on Rortvedt.
You know, it's one plus about throwing in a dome. You usually, wherever they have a roof, you usually have a good breaking ball. You usually get good field, no air.
Popped up, long run for Paredes, and he makes the play in foul territory for out number 2.
Had Rortvedt, you see where Paredes just on the edge of your screen up there in the left. He had a long way to run, made a nice catch over there by the bullpen, the Yankees bullpen. I mean, even Cole, he has good breaking stuff inside. It's just something that you don't have to worry about the outside elements.
So in a dome, you were unhittable. That little frisbee got even worse.
Yeah, it got bigger.
Yeah.
He threw in the King Dome for a number of years out there in Seattle.
If you went on the mound, could you still throw that?
I think it's all petrified in there. I can't even straighten my arm out anymore. It's done. It's like when I ride a bike, I got the good left turn. I just raise up my right arm. We do the fantasy camps down here in November and January, and I try to.
And do you snap it off or what?
I try.
Yeah.
Doesn't snap as much as it used to.
High fly ball, deep left. Arozarena back on the track at the wall. See ya! A home run for LeMahieu. First run on the board. It's 1-0 Yanks.
That's what happens when you throw a lot of curveballs, a lot of breaking balls, what Eflin's been doing. He winds up leaving one out over the middle of the plate, and he hung it.
Another breaking ball to Judge, a strike, 10th home run of the year for LeMahieu.
There you see that curveball just hangs over, a little cement mixer.
Third at bat, he has not seen a fastball yet.
Kept his weight back. Good swing. Sometimes you'll see hitters out on their front foot with that curveball, but he stayed back on that.
Finally, something fast. 1-2.
There's a sinker inside. 91 miles an hour, probably go back away.
All the Rays were listing toward first base. Thought that was strike 3. Then it was ball 2, 2-2. Grounded foul. Two home runs in his last 3 games. He had 2 in his previous 56. Since the All-Star break, a different hitter. More like the hitter the Yankees expect him to be. Swing and a miss. Judge strikes out for the 3rd time tonight. But the Yankees get on the board with the LeMahieu home run, 1 run, 1 hit. And nobody left on base. We are halfway through. And that ball lands. It's Yankees 1, Rays nothing. And he asked if I could mention this, and I said, of course I would, because it's so important. On May 3rd next year, his annual gala for kids versus cancer. And one of the honorees is going to be Derek Jeter, and it's at the Ritz-Carlton Resort in Sarasota. They hope to raise big dollars for pediatric cancer research through the V Foundation. So far, Dick Vitale, through his tireless work, has raised $68.1 million. Last year, they raised $12.4 million, and they'd like to break that record. So you can get info at dickvitale.com. And down goes Josh Lowe, or you can call 941-350-0580. May 3rd at the Ritz-Carlton Resort in Sarasota. He has worked so tirelessly to help defeat childhood cancer, and he's going through such a tough time right now, Jeff. He has cancer of the vocal cords, and he's going through countless radiation treatments. I think he has another week left of them, but here he is in his regular seat. Those are his season tickets here at the Trop, so we wish him good thoughts and that things go well for him, and obviously the gala means so much to him.
Yeah, he's done such a terrific job, and he has such a great personality. I remember playing here, and he was here every time we came in. Great guy. Hope to hear him back on the broadcasts.
He was telling me, he said, you know, I feel fine physically. He said, but I can't talk.
Right, he
said,
does it on the whiteboard.
Right.
He
said, it's just because Dick Vitale likes to talk. And he's so great at it, and so he has to be silenced while the treatments try to eradicate the cancer.
Yeah, I follow him on Twitter, and he's always on the whiteboard, and he's giving everyone updates on his treatments and how things are going. It's a good phrase, diaper dandy. The Yankees have a few diaper dandies.
They're hoping. Swing and a miss. Basabe goes down.
A real good slider here. You mentioned the breaking ball inside. You don't have to worry about the elements. He got low with a fastball up top, the previous hitter. And that was a slider away. You know, there's places when you're pitching in Texas, like you look at the domes, you had the King Dome, even when the roof is closed in Toronto, you don't have to worry about the wind here. I wasn't a big fan of throwing here. But like some places at the wind, like in Texas, old Texas, before they have the new stadium, the wind would come out of about left field and it would wrap around and then shoot out to right. every once in a while you would have the wind blowing right in your face.
Right.
It messes with you as a pitcher because you think, okay, do I have to really hump up even harder to try to throw the ball? And then it messes with your breaking ball. When you have the wind really howling at you, you don't get a good breaking ball like you're used to in other places.
How about that inning, huh? He strikes out the side. Garrett Cole has retired 12 in a row. Pitching a gem. We go to the 6th, 1-0 Yanks. And that's where we start around the majors. Mookie Betts got a huge ovation when he was introduced to the crowd. Trey Turner, last 17 games on fire. Julio Rodriguez, wow. He has really helped lead that surge by the Mariners. 393, 7 homers and 29 ribbies in 25 games.
We made the All-Star team out in Seattle. He was hitting, what, 243, and it was like, okay, I know it's Seattle, and everybody wanted to see him in the All-Star game. He was in the home run derby. But for 243, everybody questioned, why did he make the All-Star team? But now,
Jeff, he had 17 hits in 4 games.
yeah,
Unbelievable.
and
He's a great player.
He is a great player. Teoscar Hernandez is also swinging the bat well, hitting well over 300.
And you wonder if
last
they
few
really,
weeks.
if they thought this was going to happen, because they traded their closer
Yes.
at the trade deadline.
Well, they did it the day before. I mean, a year before with Graveman.
Yeah.
Graveman. Seawald they traded.
2-2.
Well, they have great starters. Some of the best starting pitching in baseball.
Grounded up the middle and through, a base hit for Gleyber Torres.
A nice AB, gets a fastball. Again, center cut. You see where Bethencourt's setting up, and Eflin over these last couple innings has been missing out over the plate. The hanging breaking ball to LeMahieu for a homer and a couple base hits on fastballs right down the middle.
Here's Stanton. And a strike.
Torres 12 stolen bases on the year. Doesn't have a real big lead over at first. You'd love to get somebody in scoring position. They've had guys in Peraza and Volpe on bases to be able to try to swipe a bag. As good as the Rays offense is, you don't want to keep them in the game. You want to try to score some more runs, especially for Cole.
I just want to go back and amplify the inning that Cole just had.
Oh, yes.
10 pitches, all strikes, so 1 foul ball, so it wasn't an immaculate inning, but that's pretty darn clean. Not immaculate, but pretty darn clean.
Well, he also threw up a 0 after scoring and on the home run in the top half. Throw up a 0 and get your guys back in the dugout.
2-2 on Stanton. Foul back. Now you see the Rays are wearing their throwback uniforms. They do that on Friday. That's the old uniform of the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. They changed the name to Rays, but on Fridays they do wear the old rainbow-themed Devil Rays uniform.
Well, when we came in here, they were always the Devil Rays.
Their luck changed when they became the Rays.
Yeah.
And Stanton with a good at bat. He works a walk, first and second, nobody out.
Center fielder, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa.
Eflin 91 pitches here through 5+.
Fans, don't forget the
Spectrum One is fast, secure, and reliable. Internet for $49.99 a month. Free advanced Wi-Fi and a free mobile line. Restrictions apply. Visit Spectrum.com for details.
Highly respected pitching coach Kyle Snyder. You know, when you have a lot of strikeouts, your pitch count goes up. That's why he's at 91. He's pitched a really, really good game. But nobody out here in the 6th inning. He's closing in on 100. And as Snyder walks back, some stirring in the Rays bullpen.
Well, the Rays are going to play for a bunt. Third baseman Paredes, he's in. Diaz, the first baseman, he's in on the grass.
Well, the guy at the plate is the Yankees' best hitter with runners in scoring position. 19 for 59, 322. Trevor Kelly warming up. First and second. Line drive. They get the out, but they don't get the double play. Nice play by Basabe.
Yeah, nice job by Torres as well, reading that line drive. This is a hanging breaking ball. IKF smoked it. Right at Basabe.
Here's Anthony Volpe. One and 0. This is the 25th anniversary season for the Tampa Bay franchise, and they will wear these Devil Ray uniforms 14 times. That's opening day and all Friday home games. That one is hammered into left field, right at Arozarena. Not as hard as you can hit the ball. Nothing to show for it for Volpe.
A couple hard hit balls by the Yankees off of Eflin. A line drive by IKF, and then right there by Volpe.
Well, you know this. The more you throw breaking balls, you're going to get tired. And he's not as sharp this inning as he has been previously. Some of those pitches are up in the zone. Hammered foul.
Yeah, right there, that breaking ball was supposed to be away. You know, when your arm gets tired, your lower half sometimes gets tired. That goes first, and all of a sudden you start dropping that elbow and hanging in a breaking ball. That breaking ball was not as sharp as we've seen from Eflin. And Pereira's going to see a lot of breaking balls.
That one is hammered into right center field. It's a base hit. Gleyber Torres will score. Stanton stops at second. Pereira picks up an RBI single, and the Yankees have a 2-0 lead.
Well, big AB by Pereira there, and he got a fastball. Eflin just hasn't been feeling it with that curveball this inning. A lot of them hanging out over the middle of the plate. He tries to come in with that fastball. You see how Pereira pulls his hands in, doesn't pull the ball, but goes the other way. Nice at bat. Nice base hit with 2 outs and an RBI.
Peraza takes outside. Oswald is 1 for 2. One and one.
Doing a nice job with Eflin in this inning. Talk about elevating, make him get those pitches up. Everything has been down so far, but this inning's been up. And a pitch down and away, good curveball.
And that is the 11th strikeout for Eflin. He works out of the further trouble. When the Yankees get a run, they leave 2. Fully electric Audi vehicle, your local Tri-State Audi dealer today.
This is in the 5th inning. There's that fastball to low. Good slider down and away. Another slider down and away to get Siri. He strikes out the side in the 5th.
And that last strikeout was his 8th, Cole's 8th strikeout, brought to you by Audi and the new fully electric Q8 e-tron. Visit your local Tri-State Audi dealer. That one's fouled back. Cole has retired 12 in a row. Bethencourt leading off here in the 6th. Yankees lead 2-0.
You know, you mentioned that article that was written in the stupid questions that were asked of Cole about, oh, you're going to shut it down, you know, long season, just get ready for 2024. For one, he's got a chance to win his first Cy Young. And why would he?
Well, now you become a media critic, too.
Yeah, wasn't too smart.
There's no dumb questions, just bad answers. Jeff Nelson shouting at clouds.
It might not be a great question. You think about shutting it down.
He's not going to slow down to preserve his arm for future years. He said, if I was pushing 250 innings, maybe I would, but I need to hit my 205, 210. He said that was part of the challenge to get to that level in 21 after 20, the COVID season. Not having that accumulation of workload throughout the year, it isn't replaceable. You've got to repeat the same steps. So right now, coming into this game, 160 in the 3rd innings, which is tops in the American League. Last year he finished with 200 and 2/3 and then pitched another 18 in the 3rd in the playoffs. He said, as long as we're not in the danger zone and we're not even close, I'll pitch. We're here to play 162 games. That's my full commitment. My full commitment is making 33 or 34 starts. I personally want to fulfill that. Another strikeout. Bethencourt doesn't like it.
First baseman, Diaz.
We see where Rortvedt set up. Might have been outside, but not very much. It's a good fastball at 96. He's got 20, so this is his 27th start. Probably about 6 more on the year. We'll get him to 33.
He went on to say, Jeff, I want to fulfill that because I'm getting paid to do that. I want to play for the organization and the people showing up to watch me pitch, my teammates and my family. That's a lot of different motivating factors other than physical. I still enjoy pitching.
And plus, he's a workhorse, and his, you know, there's certain, you look at Verlander, Scherzer, the body types that can handle the workload. He's that kind of guy.
And also, Jeff, what he's saying, let's say he stopped pitching after today and said, you know, I'm done for the year, and he's at 168 innings. Well, then you're starting from a negative next year. It's hard then to jump up to the 200 inning mark again. So he wants to stay built up. That one's driven deep to left field. Going back, Pereira, turning, looking, see ya. Home run Diaz, and it's 2-1 Yankees.
That was a 2-1 fastball to Diaz. Cole tried to come up and in, and it stayed down and out over the plate.
I believe that's his 6th home run against the Rays this year. Diaz's 17th home run of the year. So here's Lau. That broke a string of 13 straight Rays retired.
Well, here's the pitch. You see where Rortvedt set up. It was actually a little slider, just didn't do a whole lot. More almost like a cutter, a little cement mixer, just stayed up in the zone. Supposed to be away. You see where that pitch was, out over and up. Right off the meat of the bat. But you're right, 168 innings, you shut it down, you're starting in a negative. I mean, this guy's used to throwing over 200 innings. I mean, there were some teams, you know, for instance, the Phillies. I mean, look, okay, they went to the World Series, and Wheeler, two of their big pitchers, Wheeler and Nola. They shut them down in spring training, and they struggled for pretty much the first 2 months of the season. You know, not always, okay, you pitch into October and all the way to the end. You know, take your rest in the winter. Get ready for spring training. A lot of these guys are throwing nonstop. You know, you need that rest. You need your body to shut it down.
High fly ball, right field. Judge backs up. Now backing up more, and he makes the play for the second out.
Well, that's what we were talking about earlier about the roof. Another fastball right down the middle. Lau thinks he might have a chance. See Judge, he goes back. He probably loses it for a second and then picks it up again.
Grounded to third. Peraza fires to LeMahieu for the final out. Diaz with a home run. We go to the 7-2-1 Yanks. Honda dealers. By the New York Lottery, get out there and play. Please play responsibly. You must be 18 or over. And by Bigelow, the official hot tea of the New York Yankees. Some of the Yankees that wore both uniforms. I guess some of the Rays that wore both uniforms too. Don't recall Matsui playing here, right?
No.
Yeah, I don't remember that. Trevor Kelly will take over. Zach Eflin with a strong 6, so now Kelly. That'll be his 10th game. And Cole beating himself up over that pitch to Yandy Diaz.
Yeah, you can see there he's waving. He probably wanted that pitch away. Hung out over the middle. Kelly's a side armor. A fastball slider.
He's in your fraternity.
Yeah. He comes down there like right around his thigh. And for side armors, lefties always had an easier chance of seeing them or picking them up because they do come. They see it a little longer than a right-handed hitter.
He signed a minor league deal with the Rays in January. He called up yesterday for his 4th major league stint of the season. When they signed him, Kyle Snyder immediately suggested 2 new grips after the signing. Rortvedt lost one to left field. Arozarena back. 1 out. And he developed a new 2-seamer and a new, they call sweeper, we call breaking ball.
Well, there you see the motion and how far he comes down from the side. And it is funny because when he lifts that leg, he's already drifting towards the plate. You don't really teach that. You want guys to stay out over the rubber and get balanced over the rubber. As soon as he lifts that leg, he starts his motion and he's drifting towards the plate. So that means his arms really got to get into that throwing slot. Probably one of the reasons why he does throw a sidearm. You'd never be able to do that if you threw overhand. And there you see that front, that stride leg is right towards a right-handed hitter.
Kelly's played for the Red Sox, the Phillies, Milwaukee, and now Tampa Bay. 2-1 on LeMahieu. He's 2 for 3. Single and a home run.
And he doesn't have a real long throwing style. It's a little snap.
And count is 2-2 on LeMahieu.
Almost like a middle infielder coming in, charging a ball and throwing it across the diamond to first. A little snap throw.
And he's one of those guys who has defied the odds. 36th round pick in 2015 by the Red Sox out of the University of North Carolina. That round doesn't exist anymore.
You know, I heard you and O'Neill talk about what was Piazza like, the 40-some, 60-some round?
62nd. 62nd. That one clipped him. Or did it? Probably just ball 4. So LeMahieu reaches first, and Judge is the happiest guy in the world that Eflin's not in there. He struck out 3 times against that. And here comes Kyle Snyder. You know, we've been talking about, you know, the throwback uniforms, the Devil Rays, and I should say that they changed the name to the Rays after 10 years of being the Devil Rays, and they changed it when Stuart Sternberg bought the team. So it was after the 2007 season, and fans here had been asking for a name change. So once they changed it at the start of the 2008 season, that's when the banners started up there.
They went to the World Series.
Yeah, they went to a World Series, so maybe that's something to do. All right, so Yandy Diaz, the only blemish against Cole. We'll take a look at the pitching decisions presented by Sage.
Well, it was supposed to be a slider away, and it didn't do a whole lot. You see where Workvet set up. Too much of the middle of the plate, and you can see Cole frustrated by the pitch. It was the right pitch. He just didn't get it away. You cut that slider off, and it just spins.
Pitch outside to Judge.
Well, when you're a side armor and you're facing a right-handed hitter, you know, your advantage is to come inside and then open up the outside part with a slider. There's that slider down and away, but you really have to set up that sinker inside and make righties aware that you're going to come in there. I mean, you'll see as you're watching there, his front foot goes directly towards Judge.
Way outside. Now I'm noticing, Jeff, that he's kind of on the first base side of the rubber, not all the way over. I would think that as a sidewinder, wouldn't you want to be all the way on the third base side? So then you kind of come in behind the right-handed batter?
Right, he's right in the middle, and usually side armors are absolutely right. They go more towards the third base side of the rubber.
Where did you go?
Third base side of the rubber, and a lot of times I'd be well off. It all depended on, you know, the guys who pitched before me. Sometimes your heel would be in the hole around the rubber, so I would have to go all the way, and half of my foot would be sticking off the third base because I wanted to intimidate right-handed hitters more.
Judge walks, because just listening to O'Neill, that's what made Randy Johnson so tough, because the ball was behind you when it was released.
And I had such a big slider. If I threw from the first base side or even the middle of the rubber, I would not be able to throw for a strike.
Right.
Because my whole deal was throwing it right at the hitter and getting it to break away.
First and second for the Yanks, 1 out. And the pitch is a strike to Gleyber Torres. Just missed the outside corner. 1-1. Now 1-2.
You know, a lot of guys are just, you know, when you get pitchers that throw overhand, you know, they'll move back and forth. A lot of starters you'll see throw from the right-handed pitchers, they'll throw from the first base side of that rubber. A lot of times because they're facing lefties. A lot of left-handers in there, they feel more comfortable on that side of the rubber to be able to get that pitch inside to a left-hander.
Well, he's pointing toward the outfield, not quite sure something with the clock. Both clocks are working out there. One-two. Hammered down the left field line. It is a fair ball, and it bounces into the seats for double. LeMahieu will score. Judge stops at third. It's an RBI double for Gleyber Torres, and a 3-1 Yankee lead.
Well, this is what you want. Tack on. You see where Bethancourt was setting up. And even though he's throwing from the side, he doesn't have big sink on that fastball, and that ball stayed up. Torres hammered it down the left field line for a grounds rule double and an RBI.
Rays bring the infield in for Stanton. Probably a thrill for all those infielders. And there's a strike. Judge at third. Torres at second. Now, Jeff, can I get some props for the fan out there who fielded that ball and never dropped a drip of his drink in his other hand? Yeah, it was brilliant.
Looks like he has a little margarita down there. He didn't want to lose it. Let's see.
Look.
Did he?
Didn't drop anything.
Oh, that's smooth. Too bad he doesn't have a Yankee hat on.
That's big league right there. Now my hand hurts.
Kept his drink, though.
That one is drilled deep to left field. Going back to Rosarena. He's going to play it off the base of the wall. 2 runs will score. Stanton's going for 2. He'll make it. A 2-run double. And the Yankees will lead this one by a score of 5-1.
Now the Yankees are getting great looks off of Kelly. Again, a fastball that was supposed to be inside. He doesn't have great sink on that sidearm sinker. It stayed out over the middle of the plate. This was hammered over Rosarena's head, off that wall, off the bottom of the wall. Stanton swinging the bat well these last couple games.
Kanafalefa with a long and high fly ball. Well, Rosarena puts it away for out number 2.
Here's number 11.
Again, gets out in front on that fastball. Look at that weight, how it stays back.
Here's Volpe. It's one of the great mysteries to me, Jeff, watching almost every one of his at-bats, how Stanton could go from lost to locked in and from locked in to lost in an eye blink. And there's no explanation.
Yeah, it is strange. And when he gets locked in, he has games like these last couple. I mean, he's covering the outside because usually the way to pitch him, you can get him away because he pulls off the ball so much. These last couple games, he's staying on some pitches. That one was out over the middle of the plate and belt high where he likes it.
That one is looped into right field. It's a base hit, and Stanton's going to be held up as the throw comes in. So a single for Volpe, his second of the night. And Stanton taking it base to base, first and third, 2 men out.
Well, it's probably going to be a similar situation about a week or so ago with Stanton. There's a little looping base hit to right, and Stanton probably would have been thrown out at home if he was sent. Now first and third, this is a great opportunity for Volpe. You got a side armor. Side armors with that leg kick take a long time to throw to home.
Pereira swings and misses.
You'd love to see him get a jump and steal a base. Again, don't shut that part of your game down. Keep being aggressive.
Fly ball, right center field, long run for Siri, and he runs it down for the final out. But the Yankees put 3 runs on the board. Looking for more, but Siri had other ideas. He hauls it in. It's time for the stretch. Yankees up by 4. All right, thank you guys. As we go to the bottom of the 7th, the Yankees have a 5-1 lead. And Ramirez against Cole, bottom of the 7th. And the strike.
And Cole 83 pitches here in the 7th.
Yeah, pitch count's in pretty good shape. Yankees have 10 hits. Cole has given up just 3. An announced crowd of 22,679 at the Trop. And there's a strike. So 1 run over 6 innings. Ground ball to second. And Cole's ERA has dropped to 2.98. He came into the game at 3.03. That still led the league. That brings up Paredes. Grounded to third, backhanded. Peraza, and the throw. 2 down. Making easy work of it.
Yeah, throw up a 0 here. Outstanding job through the first couple hitters already. 5 pitches. 4 pitches in this inning. You know, you look at Cole's competition maybe for the Cy Young. You look at Castillo, 3.15. He was 3rd in the ERA. Gray right behind him, tied with Castillo with a 3.15 ERA. Kirby out in Seattle. You know, wins really don't mean a whole lot when you're looking at the Cy Young Award. Cole's leading in innings. He's 4th in strikeouts. Probably climbed up a little bit with that.
Well, Cole has been victimized. I mean, he's had so many games where he's allowed 2 or fewer runs and got no decisions.
Right.
So he should have 16 wins at this point. He comes into this game at 10-4. He's had an extraordinary season. He has been the least of the Yankee problems in this disappointing year. 1-1. 1-2.
179 would have put him right now at 3rd in the AL in strikeouts with 9 strikeouts today.
And now 10 as Lowe down on strikes. 1-2-3 inning for Cole. We go to the 8th. Well, tomorrow on Yes, the Yankees and the Rays play the 2nd game of this weekend series right here at the Trop. Coverage begins at 3 with the pregame, then first pitch is scheduled for shortly after 4 on Yes and the Yes app. Don't know if it's the end of the line there for Cole, but there was conversation with Blake and Boone. Nobody's up in the Yankee bullpen.
91 pitches.
Peraza, foul ball.
Still looks like he's got plenty in the tank.
No walks, 10 strikeouts, 91 pitches. The old-fashioned fan. Swing and a miss. Peraza down on strikes. What really impresses you about Cole, and I'm sure you think this way as well, Jeff, he's a power pitcher, but he's a craftsman. I mean, he's really a pitcher. He's not just throwing the ball out there. He thinks through everything, analyzes, scrutinizes every single thing he works on, And he's an artist out there with a 98-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah, I really don't think that way.
No?
No, I agree with you. No, you know, he's very cerebral. I mean, you talk to him. Maybe you've had chances to talk to him. And you really have to pick things out. I mean, he's very, he knows exactly what he wants to do out there. He knows what the hitter's doing. You know, he really did a great job of setting up his curveball with his fastball. I liked how he threw inside a few occasions.
Down goes O'Rourke at 2 away. That'll bring up LeMahieu. Had a home run in the 5th inning. We'll take a look at the exit velocity presented by Spectrum. So it was 102 off the bat. 393 feet was the distance, and that's a home run in 27 of 30 parks. Now, what was that distance again? Was that 370? So I guess one of the 3 parks would be Yankee Stadium. It wouldn't be out. 393, and so it'd be close. It's 399 out there.
Been in a bullpen, maybe. In a visiting bullpen.
There's a strike.
But every start, I mean, every time, no matter what starter you are with Cole, I mean, you're down the bullpen. You know, I talk so much about how the angles of the bullpen and compared to the game mound.
Deep to left field. There it goes. See ya. Second home run for LeMahieu. And it's 6-1 Yankees. I'd say that was 30 out of 30 parks.
Yeah, that was a bomb, and that was a cement mixer. Another hanging breaking ball that he got. He got one off of Eflin in the 5th inning. This one off of Kelly. It was crushed. But this is one of the few parks that the bullpen mounds and the game mounds are basically in the same direction. And you feel, I mean, you have different stuff, you know, out in the bullpen. He had a really good feel for his curveball and his slider. Really came into play today, and he has 97, 98 in the tank. Cole's very smart out there, very aggressive. You look at this is just a hanger from the side. There you see Kelly, he knew it.
Didn't even look.
Always begged for them just to hit off the wall.
Silent beg.
Yeah, if I gave up if I saw it go deep, I'd say, please stand, please stand.
Loizaga about to get ready. First time he's had a multi-home run game since 2021. That was in May. Been a long time. Check swing. Did he go? Nope. Strange look for Kevin Cash. Usually he has 3-4 day growth. Keeps it that length, but he's clean shaven for the first game of the series. Foul ball.
And another hanging slider, and from Kelly, even a little snap though, he short arms the ball from the side about belt high, and he doesn't really get a good break on his slider. It just slides across the zone. You don't get that depth that you would normally see from a side armor.
Popped up, long run for Diaz. Makes the seats. Ran into Gabe Morales. Didn't matter, made the seats anyway. Foul back. Swing and a miss. 4th strikeout of the night for Judge. 3 strikeouts for Kelly in the inning, but was marred by this home run by DJ LeMahieu. Multi-home run game, the 7th of his career, and the Yankees with a lead. All right, so Garrett Cole comes out to pitch the 8th inning. Hyundai scoreboard 6-1 Yankees. And Basabe takes outside 1-0. Grounded to third. Peraza the long throw, and the scoop is not made by LeMahieu, allowing Basabe to reach.
Yeah, Basabe runs well. Peraza had to get rid of it in a hurry. See the high chopper down there just stayed fair. One hopped. LeMahieu, and when you have the runner coming right at you and you're reaching into the runner's running path, it's a tough pick.
And they gave him a base hit. And here's Jose Siri. 4th hit against Cole. There's a ground ball grabbed by Peraza. There's one. That's all they'll get. Nice play by Peraza to the glove side.
Yeah, nice job. You see Peraza, he goes to his left. Gets up. Almost looked like he was going to throw to first, but realized, hey, he can go and get that easy out at second.
So here's Bethancourt. He struck out twice, once looking. Oh, and 1.
There you see him go to his right. He gets back up, turns, gets the easy out at second.
He is a plus defender. Runner goes, pitches high, throw to second, not in time. Stolen base for Siri.
Siri's 10th on the year, and got a big lead, 6-1 lead. You want to work on the hitter instead of the guy running. You don't really pay too much attention to the guy over at first.
Two and one on Bethancourt. Siri leads off second. 2-2.
You know, I wonder if this will be his last hitter with Diaz at the top of the lineup coming up.
Loizaga is ready. Volpe just picked something up off the turf and is looking for somebody to give it to. He's just going to put it in his back pocket.
A couple saw blades. Bats are flying out there. Might be some shrapnel. Bats. Pieces of a bat.
Three-two. Swing and a miss. Another strikeout for Garrett Cole.
A good heater, 3-2, and it was up. 98.
after this strikeout, Boone came running out to the mound, signals to the bullpen. A lot of Yankee fans here at the Trop, and they are giving Cole a well-deserved hand.
By Garrett Cole was outstanding. There's a fastball upstairs. He had the good breaking ball, the knuckle curve, the slider away, and then another heater on the outside part of the plate. There's that slider down away to Ramirez. Another fastball. How about 11 strikeouts and did not walk a Devil Ray in 7 2/3.
So now he's an interested observer for the final out. 100 pitches, 11 strikeouts, no walks. Here's Diaz against Loaisiga. Tenth game for him.
In 2/3, good ERA, under 1. That's where you want to pitch Diaz. Fastballs in, crowd him, and then you can expand the zone.
Quite a performance by Cole.
Yeah, Cole saying watch at second. You have 2 outs. You want to get the hitter here. I don't care if series steals or not.
Diaz gets plunked. Now, I know you're not happy when you get hit, but does he really think Loaisiga did that on purpose?
Yeah, that's just take your base. You know, that's where you have to be pitched. You know, obviously you don't like getting hit, like you said, Michael, but you know what? That's where you have to be pitched. You got to go inside against Diaz. You get hit, you get hit. I mean, if you're Loaisiga, this is your plate.
So here's Brandon Lau. Still 2 outs, first and second. 6-1 Yanks. Missed inside.
And I think the only reason why he didn't get that call, you had Workfed, he was setting up outside and he had to reach back to make that catch, and it probably was a strike.
Foul back. 1-1. You know, you look at Cole, and it seems like he agonizes over everything. So he loves pitching, but I think it just eats at him I mean, he wants to be perfect every single time.
Well, also he has a runner out on second.
Right.
He's like, I don't want that guy to score. It's an earned run for me if he scores. We'll see him relax a little bit, get out of this inning, and his run doesn't score.
The 2-2. That's a base hit to left center field. That run will score. Pereira cuts it off, fires into second. Moving to third is Diaz. Lau with an RBI single. And now it's 6-2 Yanks.
We saw one changeup in that at-bat. That was a fastball. You see where Workvet was setting up. And it was up. Anything down, you get that sink down, you probably had a ground ball. He was able to shoot that just past Volpe. And that's going to score Cole's run. Looks like Peralta down there for the Yankees getting up. You don't want this game to get away.
Rosarena with one swing can make it a one-run game.
Loizaga, you've seen one off-speed pitch, and that was a changeup. We haven't seen the slider. A lot of fastballs. You know, the one thing about going inside, you know, you make everybody in that lineup with the Rays aware that, hey, he's not afraid to come in there. That's what you want. You want uncomfortable at bats. You don't want these guys feeling comfortable at the plate and get good swings.
And with that run scoring, Jeff, Cole's ERA is 3.00 on the nose. Rosarena is 0 for 3, down in the count 0-2.
Well, this is where you can expand the zone here. I'd love to see a slider down and away. That was that slider. It just sometimes you want to overthrow it, and you get a bigger break.
Got decent numbers against Loizaga, 2 for 7, but he struck out 3 times.
Go back to that slider, but keep the shoulder closed just a little bit longer.
Threw the bat at that one to foul it off.
And that was a good slider. You kept the shoulder closed. The slider before, you watch this. Good pitch. Okay, now if you're reading the swing, you know, see how he covered the outside part of the plate. This is where you might want to come back in with that fastball up and in. Get it in, though.
Ground ball, Gleyber Torres. And that will do it here in the 8th. Well, the Rays get a run. They lead 2. We go to the 9th. Hoodie, courtesy of Ford. Tickets are going fast, so get yours today at Yankees.com. Well, Loizaga was not thrilled. Relief pitchers don't want to give up inherited runners. That's what he did, but he did get out of further trouble. And it's 6-2 as we go to the 9th inning. Jake Diekman will pitch in his 50th game of the year. Walks too many people, but he's more than a strikeout per inning.
I think a good fastball, 95, 96. A lot of fastballs, 63% of the time. Slider, cutter, change.
Torres takes up and away 1-0.
Like that, Loizaga was a little upset giving up that run. It's one thing as bullpen guys, when you come in with runners on base, you always want to try to leave them there.
All the way. Torres, Stanton, and Kiner-Falefa. Diekman was released by the White Sox May 6th. The Rays picked him up 4 days later. He had a 7.94 ERA with the White Sox, but a 3.09 ERA, 36 games with the Rays. Fly ball shallow left. Rosarena makes the play. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the aforementioned New York Yankees. Stanton fouls it off. I wonder, Jeff, what's in the secret sauce with them that they turn around pitchers like that?
Yeah, I wonder as well. You know, maybe they find something that other teams aren't finding. Well, it could be mechanical, whether, you know, they get away from a pitch that they've had success with in the past. Or maybe they're throwing too many breaks. Hey, let's start throwing your fastball a little bit more. That's the pitch that everything's going to come off of. You know, that pitch right there is 97 on the outside, that fastball.
Swing and a miss. Stanton down on strikes. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Western Beef Supermarkets. Think fresh, save big. By G2 by Pilot, helping to write the next chapter in New York Yankees history. And by Suffolk Credit Union, empowering your possible. Here's Isaiah Canafalefa. He's 1 for 4 with a double.
You know, in some teams, it's just like slight changes. You know, some teams see things different. I mean, there's all kinds of scouts in the stands. There's coaches on the other side. They're all, you know, observing other pitchers on other teams or other players on other teams. They may say, hey, you know what, I see I might be able to change that guy or tweak him just a little bit. He might have a little bit more success that other teams might not notice and might not know what to do or say or see that little slight change that might make that pitcher better.
In that picture, that's the heartbeat of the Yankees. Now and in the future. Their two best players. No argument from anyone. There's a strike.
Well, a great example because they're two players that hate to fail. And every one of those guys in that dugout can learn from those two.
Fly ball, right field. Lowe puts it away, and the Yankees go down in order against Diekman. Bottom of the 9th inning. Coming up, Yankees up by 4. Play of the game, Jeff.
Well, in the 2nd inning, Siri, great play by Volpe going to his right. One hop, nice pick. Watch out, Peraza. Get out of the way. Nice pick by LeMahieu as well.
Solo Loaisiga will try to get the final 3 outs. Ramirez leads off here in the bottom of the 9th. It's 6-2 Yanks. Grounded up the middle, diving stop by Volpe. Fires to first, and the scoop got him. Beautiful play on both ends.
Yeah, it's a great play. I bet you that Tampa Bay might wind up looking at this. Maybe not, but what an effort by Volpe. Going up the middle, nice dive. He gets up quick. Nice pick again by LeMahieu. They got him. They're not going to challenge.
By an eyelash. Bader is taking over in center field for IKF. Tighten up the defense. Here's Paredes. One and 0. Grounded foul. There's Harrison. I don't think Harrison has in the mouthpiece. Just chewing gum. Now that is a first.
Caught him by surprise, but he left a mouthpiece in the locker room. Couldn't get it in time.
Or he's trying to change his luck. Slumping up late. Grounded foul.
The gum's a lot better look than the mouthpiece sticking out of your mouth while you're chewing on it.
I'll give Steph Curry a call for you. Well, Bader's is more of a retainer, Jeff. That sort of feel, you know? It's not just like a tooth guard.
It's not like a mouth guard when you're like biting.
I don't think it is. I think it's more of an alignment thing. Popped up, middle of the infield. Who's going to get it? Peraza makes the call on the catch. 1 out to go. Stay tuned after the final out for tonight's WB Mason Yankees postgame and get analysis from the studio and player reaction from the clubhouse. Plus, Aaron Boone on the manager's report. That's all coming up next on Yes and the Yes app.
Well, maybe his orthodontist said you don't have to wear that anymore. You're done. You completed the run.
Look at you. Could be. Called them up today in Tampa. Said, okay, that's it.
Said no more.
Josh Lowe is 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts today, also with a fly ball on left. Yankees trying to start this long road trip. 10 games, 3 cities with a victory. 1-1. And the pitch. 2-1.
Well, it's a good start here. You know, you do have that long road trip, and you know, you still have to push on. You know, these players are not accepting where they are in the standings, and they still have to keep pushing.
And the Rays are down to their final strike. Yankees trying to snap the Rays' 4-game winning streak. Three and 2.
Lowe's looked bad on that slider. He tried to go upstairs with a fastball, see if he comes back with that slider to end it.
Just got a piece. 97 miles an hour. And the 3-2. Hammered foul. And the payoff. Fly ball. This should do it. Coming on. Everson Pereira, he makes the play, and the Yankees win 6-2. You have 2 home runs by that guy, but the story of the game is Garrett Cole being Garrett Cole.
He was outstanding, and it's the exact effort that the Yankees needed to lead off this road trip. You know, 7 2/3, wound up giving up 2 runs, but 11 strikeouts, and he did not walk a batter in 100 pitches. Outstanding. And he had great offense as well, Michael.
Yankees have not had many days where they're shaking hands at the end of the game. This is one of them, starting up a 10-game road trip with a 6-2 win. We'll be back.